There is a distinct type of aura that is emitted upon the acquisition of certain drip, a certain fit, a collection of fabrics that when combined give off a certain energy, that upon its wearing by whoever dares to put it on, brandishes the title only suit for such an achievement. From the wearing of a gauntlet, possessed by a character with ambition so noble, the combined efforts of Earth and the galaxy's mightiest heroes wasn't enough to stop him, to a mask that hides the cowl of a man so deeply embroiled in his quest for vengeance, his putting on being his only reprieve from his pain-stricken life, to take his anger out on those who choose to commit the same actions that took the lives of the only two people he ever truly loved, to the unfortunate finding of an organism that through the sowing to its user's very flesh, granting them heightened speed, agility, and immeasurable strength, those attributes only being fed by their host's darker inhibitions, their hatred, anger, and jealousy, feelings that only sink their host deeper into a pit of self-loathing and despair. The parasite's trick, isolating them, falsifying the belief that they are their only friend, their only salvation, so much power at the cost of their identity, who they are, stitching woven so deep it feels a part of them, its presence being that of an unwanted burden, one they simply can't remove, its trance likened to that of a spell, putting its host in a state of spectator to their actions, only being broken by the undying will of a hero.
It's cold.
It'll get colder if we don't get out of here. Hold on.
Drip is a funny thing. Drip is what gives a character that power. It's a social hierarchy that must be recognized by all living things. It surrounds us, penetrates us, it binds the galaxy together. And without it, where'd we be? But under some profound circumstances, the acquisition of certain drip, a hat, a coat, a mask, a suit, breeds a character that can only be considered in a certain category, an achievement only reserved for those universally considered by many to be iced out, drip to the feet, one could say. Titles only used to describe those with a status so revered it'd be hard to ignore, only uttered to those truly worthy of such a moniker.
Where am I?
I'm him. Hey, you like that intro? Huh? You like that intro? Oh, I know you did. I'm pretty sure I made my stance clear on what I thought about the Invincible TV show, but to sum it up, I believed it to just be a shit version of a good thing. Unnecessary swappings of characters, unusual changes to character design, terrible pacing in comparison to its source material, and given how good Western animation used to be back in the 90s and early 2000s, and how much has fallen from grace since then, the show boasts some of the most embarrassing animation and horribly choreographed fight scenes I've ever seen in my life. Genuinely, what the fuck is this? Especially in comparison to productions that overseas. And productions made little over a decade ago. And after getting flamed in the comment section,
awful take. Sorry I even watched. Disagree, but to each their own.
Okay. With takes like this, I don't think you're gonna be at 100k ever, bro. Honestly, hate even giving this comment as engage me.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
I didn't watch it, therefore your wrong-hold opinion about the comic being better has no ground. Base facts and arguments to make your wrong opinion have any value. You knew you'd get heat for saying this, so you did this video because it's a hot take, not because you have any basis to that opinion.
What? You probably don't even believe what you saying in said video. Sod off liberal.
Shut up, bitch. Okay, back to the actual video. Subjected myself to the horror that was this abomination in all its abominable glory, and it was 10 times worse than than I could have ever imagined, but it put things into perspective for me and how completely screwed this show is from here. Like honestly, the show can barely straggle together an interesting narrative, which you wouldn't even really think is possible since you'd expect it to be a one-to-one adaptation, but leave it to modern writers to fuck it up somehow. And though I have no real plans to cover this show outside of that one video I made, it does hurt my soul to know how badly they're gonna destroy this comic and turn all my beloved plotlines into dust to replace them with their own personal substitutes.
Or stopping some bad guys, or going to Mars. I wanted to tell you so many times. Did you hear what I just said?
Ugh, I know you're a superhero.
You know? You know?
I'm not an idiot. I figured it out weeks ago.
Then why are we fighting?
We're fighting because you lied to me. You made me feel stupid and unimportant.
It's a secret identity.
And because you don't trust me.
I'm trusting you now.
Oh my god. I mean, it's cute you think that's enough.
One of those plot lines being the blue suit. And to anyone who hasn't read the comic, the blue suit is to Mark what the black suit is to Peter Parker. The reason why I love the blue suit arc is because its acquisition took place at a very formative part of Mark's journey. Mark started at the beginning of the comic as an average teen, with an optimistic but rigid sense of good and evil, based off the warped perception of his father's image. That image being shattered upon the revelation that his father wasn't who he claimed to be. His jovial personality slowly being eroded by the continuous hardships he faced. Cecil Stedman during this time being the only real father figure Mark could confide in. But as their relationship developed, Cecil's shady side becoming more prominent as time went on. This dichotomy only throwing a wedge in between the two. Mark's morality, his sense of right and wrong, being pushed by Cecil's pragmatic perspective of the objective betterment of the world. The two coming to heads, both with wildly different understandings of what needs to be done. Mark confronting Cecil to enforce his self-righteous morals, his physical attributes giving him a false sense of power and confidence, only for Cecil to turn the tide to show how little power Mark truly has. But alas, this event proving Mark to be the victim, but destroying the relationship, the last words uttered at the time, forever letting Cecil know loud and clear where they stand from here. The blue suit being a metatextual representation for Mark's changing morality, one of those principles being to never kill, no matter what. A conversation spurred due to the conflict with his brother, Oliver. For the second time, his sense of right and wrong being contrasted with Oliver's nihilistic understanding of the world. This scene being the first time we've seen his values tested, them finally being changed when he's faced with the consequences of his inaction, having the chance to rectify his inertia, only to be taken away by the closing window of opportunity. What I'm trying to say is that the blue suit means a lot to Mark's development. I'd say even integral to the story of Invincible. It showed the changing mental state and critical thinking of Mark, in that not every problem is as simple as right and wrong, good and evil, and that not every problem can be fixed by simply punching something, that some problems, just like a broken engine, need a steady hand in order to solve them.
Tell them to bring one up.
By saving that green woman and freeing Dinosaurus, although that last one didn't really work out that well. It's just such a cool suit too. Just like Edge of Time's suit is the way it looks that's so appealing to me. The black and blue combination, the placement of colors. It's essentially just a reskin, but I'm a sucker for simplistic suits. When you start putting all types of weird shit on it like neon lights, video game interfaces, conflicting materials, is when you gotta do you, me, and everyone else here a favor and take that shit off, nigga. That shit is trash.
That shit is fucking trash.
Plus, Mark just moved differently in the blue suit. Living with what he'd been through had changed him. He became more distant and on edge to the people around him. No doubt this change in mental state was spurred by the continuous complications he'd faced in his life up until this point. Being pushed over the edge by a force he'd failed to stop. His failure resulting in the deaths of countless innocents. The guilt of his actions causing him to become increasingly more ruthless in his approach to complicated situations. Once was a boy who wanted to do the very best he could, and at this point in the story began to lose sight of who he was and who he wanted to be. He wanted to be like his father, a man just like him, blessed with godlike powers, noble and loving. Losing him to a secret his father has done his hardest to protect him from. He wanted to be like Cecil, a straight-laced man who cut through the fluff of situations to assess a problem and provide the best solutions to complicated problems. A man marking his desperate need for someone to confide in gave guidance and structure. This relationship between the two giving him purpose, all he ever wanted, to be a hero, only for this relationship, just like with his father, to come crumbling down upon Mark's discovery of what he believed to be morally reprehensible actions. All this tension culminating into an arc so good it pains me to think of how badly they're gonna adapt it. Oh god. Plus Mark just lost his mind. Like, this nigga went crazy. Like that time Gary gave Amber that bitch "this shit is cold" 1950s wife treatment. Upon hearing this, Mark pulled up immediately. Bro moved so fast you would have thought this nigga was the Flash. Mask, tie and everything. Got this nigga hanging from his ankles. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe? The fuck, that sounded so... That sounded like Kermit. What the fuck was that voice? And honestly, I could lie to you guys knowing that none of y'all will ever read the comic. Knowing some of y'all niggas in the polls, I wouldn't be surprised if most of you could even read. But even with the blue suit, the first time Mark faced off against Conquest, bro was getting cooked. I'm talking crushed, thrashed. Got my boy out here eating straight up soil. You know Sebastian gonna tell all the SeaWorld about this. None of the mermaid bitches finna mess with him when they hear Conquest travel the world in 80 days with Mark's forehead. I swear to God, this nigga will never live this down. This shit is sick. But even after getting clapped like a standing ovation, upon hearing Eve got down for 200 damage, proceeds to drop the hardest line in comic book history. Destroying his body to get the job done. Fighting through excruciating pain to kill Conquest. And with an assist from Eve succeeds. It's an unfettered masterpiece. But to put it simply, the blue suit is in my objective opinion the greatest arc ever put to paper, and you'd be a fool to disagree. Whilst the TV show is an abomination and a stain on a legacy that is invincible, that you shall not dare waste a single second of your life embracing. Has to cost you be banished from my comments for all of eternity. Invincible? What a joke. I was thinking, you should subscribe. I'm trying to make it to 100k before the end of the year, so I can flex on all my peers and brag to all the brownskins and snow bunnies. So go on down and subscribe. It's Christmas. Where's your Christmas spirit? Go on, do it. No? No, you won't? Well, I wasn't asking. This wasn't a conversation. It was an order. Do it. Knock knock. Thanks for watching the video. Just checking in to ask if you'd be willing to subscribe to my Patreon. Okay, calm. Jokes aside, just here to tell you that I have a Patreon. As most of you know, I don't make any money off this channel. Essentially making me broke, but I don't have to. As for the small price of £12 a month, yes, only 12.
Brother, this guy stinks!
I know 12 is pretty steep, but hear me out. Behind the scenes footage, process videos, director's commentary, unreleased videos, access to all my scripts, and early access to all my videos 2 days before they get dropped. I can't speak.
Oh, bro.
And early access to all my videos 2 days before they drop on his channel. But yeah, I go over 4 hours worth of content on Patreon, and it'll only grow as you guys continue to support me. And also, don't feel like you need to donate. Just you guys subscribing, liking, and watching my videos is enough. Well, no, it's not, but I kind of have to say that. But yeah, it's optional. But it would really help if you pledged. But again, no pressure. Also, subscribe. I'm trying to make it to 10k before the end of the year. Okay, that's it. See ya. He became more distant and on edge to the people around him. Oh god, this is gonna be fucking hard. Why is this shit so hard? No doubt this change in mental state was spurred by the continuous complication he'd faced. No doubt this... Fuck. Fucking, I had it on pat the first time. What the oh god.